We got some additional leaks and potential spoiler news this week via a certain Reddit user who claims to have worked on the Expanding the Universe teaser that you can currently see on Disney+. We have some massive details that could have sweeping repercussions on the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a whole, so let's break it all down and talk about it. Fair warning though, massive spoilers abound from this point forward. So add this to your watch later queue if you don't want to hear it, or if you do, let's keep going. Before we do though, I do want to thank you, whether it's your first time here or you're back for more for watching the channel. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you can be one of the first to know when we upload videos just like this each and every week. Let's jump into the breakdown. Let's start first with something that Deadline, a highly respectable trade, said in one of the recent articles where the Carl Lumbly casting was announced. Quote, "According to our sources, the series will be about Falcon initially refusing to take up the mantle of Captain America, but ultimately changing his mind after discovering the secret history of the Super Soldier program by encountering Bradley, who was actually the original Captain America. While we can't say with 100% certainty that Lumbly is definitely playing Bradley, we know that character is part of the show, so this casting would make a lot of sense." End quote. If other leaks and rumors are to be believed, we will be diving heavily into the Super Soldier Serum, its various developments and applications through Hydra, their Siberian facility, Erskine's research, the Black Widow program, and via, most heavily, the United States government. Lizzie Hill on Twitter thinks that Carl will actually be playing Sam's dad, a reverend, a pastor, which would tie to the church photo I'm going to mention in a moment. So we know that Carl has been cast. We know that Bradley will show up, but they may be different characters. According to that Reddit user I mentioned, who, by the way, I'm inclined to believe, as they have provided some very, very specific details that most people who drop fanfic-style information seem to lack. They said that the series opens up right after the events of Avengers Endgame. Bucky's sitting on a bench by the lakeside, although we don't see Chris Evans as Captain America. He's not in the series. Sam is there, and Bucky's apparently sad because his best friend Steve appeared into the time stream, and he thought they'd be together until the end, but they're not. An interesting note here is that Steve apparently has a family with Peggy Carter and a kid. One of them's named James, but neither of the kids are superheroes. I don't think that'll be a big factor, but it's something that we may see. Sam Wilson, of course, still has Captain America's shield, and he's given the shield without any strings attached. Steve never said, "Hey, here's my shield, now you have to be Captain America." But then the United States government, specifically General Thunderbolt Ross, does. They say you have to not only take up the mantle, but if you want the shield, you have to be injected with the Super Soldier Serum, and in turn will pardon you for violating the Sokovia Accords. Also, Sharon Carter, aka Agent 13, is their handler, and another leak says that through this interaction, she becomes a romantic interest for Bucky in the process. And that part, I know, will make some fans not happy. Sam takes some time considering if he should take up the mantle or not. He meets a guy named Isaiah Bradley. Maybe Carl, maybe not. The first Captain America, and his grandson, Elijah Bradley, who will later be a part of the Young Avengers. But Isaiah shows Sam through photographs and documentation the secret history of the Super Soldier program. But Sam ultimately says no, so they turn to John Walker as U.S. agent to take up the role. But something later happens, I'll touch on it in a second, to his friend Bucky that changes his mind. One big reveal from our Reddit user is this, quote, "During what seems like a crucial battle, it appears Zemo discovered one last trigger word, a deactivation code, knocking out Bucky instantly and presumably killing him. We then see Sam pick up the shield for the first time since being confronted by Ross. Presumably killing him. That's huge. But it's not without precedence. In Captain America the Winter Soldier, it's revealed that a program installed trigger words that could activate and deactivate certain programming for mind control. In a flashback in Civil War, these words in Russian triggered him. Thus, the Winter Soldier was born. They were spoken by a Hydra agent, Vasily Karpov, who turned him into the Winter Soldier and sent him on a mission to kill Howard Stark and Maria Stark. Then, in Wakanda, Shuri seemingly healed Bucky, now called White Wolf, of his programming. But it appears that there was another, deeper, hidden layer, a failsafe, that remained undetected. In Ed Brubaker's Captain America comic book run, Bucky does indeed have a failsafe word programmed in, and Red Skull in that series uttered one word: Sputnik. When that word was spoken, Winter Soldier fell to the floor, deactivated, and seemingly lifeless. So him appearing to have been killed in the show is likely Zemo discovering the failsafe word from the code book that he stole. And that word I'm sure we will hear on the show is Sputnik. And it's this that might convince Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson to pick up the shield that his friend Steve gave him. And so there you have it. Are they tracking Zemo throughout the series? And do they track him to the criminal haven known as Madripoor? And is Madripoor where Zemo establishes the Thunderbolts? Okay, and this part is not major, but it's interesting. We have a set photo taken this week of a church, possibly the church where Sam's dad is a pastor, and the church has a banner strung across its facade which mentions the blip. This confirms that MCU proper calls what happened the blip. We also have a detail from a 4chan leak. Yes, I know how reliable those are, but it's that Bucky and Sam call themselves Blip Brothers, which is pretty funny. Ties into the action comedy element that Marvel likes to go for, but it's also more plausible with the set photo confirming that blip is not just a Sony word. Okay, so for now, take all this with a grain of salt, but details do correlate. Things are aligning with previously confirmed information, set photos, leaked photos, information that we already know. More footage is supposed to be released on March 5th. There's a Disney Plus launch event for its launch in Europe on that date. So we may get more information, more visuals during that time, and also this summer during San Diego Comic-Con. So hopefully we'll have just a couple more weeks to see if all of this is true or not. The show itself is scheduled to release on Disney Plus in August of 2020. So go ahead and leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. Let's continue the conversation down there. Don't forget to subscribe if you like content like this, so you can be one of the first to know when we upload videos just like this each and every week. I'm Jesse, this is JLS Comics, and I'll see you soon.